Well, I suppose that Jordan's best asset is the world situation and the fact that this embarrassing absence of a speaker has gone on now for quite some time. He's not somebody you would ordinarily think would be a natural to be speaker. He's an insurgent, always has been. You know, he expresses that in part by the fact you see him walking around always in shirt sleeves, never with a jacket or almost never. And, you know, you see the kind of a questioner he is in the hearings that he heads as the head of the Judiciary Committee and other investigative assignments he's had. And he's very aggressive. He's smart. Very tough with people, but he's not somebody. You know, the word that comes to mind when you think about Jim Jordan is not uniter. That's just not what he's ever particularly been. He has a following, to be sure, and he's popular, you know, on the new right.
Could we have a jacketless speaker, perhaps?
Translation for those conservatives over at Fox News. We don't like Jim Jordan. Nobody likes Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan is a disruptive figure in Congress. As a matter of fact, he doesn't unify anything. He hasn't been a part of any legislation that's been crafted and passed. This guy, his role is to be everything but speaker, but here we are. But Brit Hume can't say it directly, so he kind of did though. Let's keep it real. I mentioned the potential twisting of arms and pushing back. Let's get this really fast, because back to graphic 4. If this first vote doesn't go his way, or maybe the second or third, this is what might begin to happen. The rallying around Jordan follows a pressure campaign, really? Against Republicans who had resisted his rise, with lawmakers bracing for an even more serious application of political pressure against those who continue to resist his speakership. Jordan isn't expected to win on the first round of voting, but Republicans could feel the heat during subsequent rounds if they don't get in line. Jordan supporters also said his opponents risked being labeled as turncoats by opposing the nominee or by opening the door to some sort of agreement with Democrats, with political risks for them in 2024. Pause. They run the risk of being turncoats by opposing the nominee. There was several of those that opposed their nominee. In fact, their Speaker of the House, they weren't considered turncoats. Or they were by some folks, but it didn't matter because Matt Gaetz had the power of enforcing whoever the hell he wanted to kick out of the speakership, he was willing to do. So this whole revisionist of not sure how this could happen, and now they're turncoats if they don't vote for Jim Jordan. Not that any of these guys are worth being in the speakership, but from Jim Jordan, then it's your turncoat. One more part about this, graphic 6. Quote, there's a huge risk that if you end up with a coalition government and you were the person who caused it, you will be excommunicated from the party and not just from Congress, is what a lawmaker that's aligned with Jordan said. The person said holdouts would feel pressure from both the Republican base and from establishment Republicans who say the House has gone too long without a speaker. What great qualifications to be speaker. Last piece of arm twisting. I thought this was the most fun, David, before you jump in here. Let's go to graphic 9. Axios' Hill reporter, Julie Grace Brufk, she pointed this out. This is what was coming from a Sean Hannity producer, written to a whole bunch of whoever Republicans could potentially be holding out. Let's go to that white part about this graphic is what they said. This was the text that was written. Stephanie from the Hannity Show with Fox News. Sources tell Hannity that Representative, whoever she's talking to, is not supporting Representative Jordan for speaker. Can you please let me know if this is accurate? And if true, Hannity would like to know why, during a war breaking out between Israel and Hamas, with the war in Ukraine, with the wide open borders, with a budget that's unfinished, why would Representative your guy be against Representative Jordan for speaker? Please let us know when your representative plans on opening the People's House so work can be done. Lastly, are there any conditions representative of yours will choose to work with Democrats on the process of electing a new speaker? And she gives a deadline. This is a producer for a news show, a conservative news show, not a staffer, not part of Jim Jordan's faction, not someone that works on the Hill. This is a producer for a news show. So our producers here, would they be sending letters to congressmen and saying, we heard that you're not doing what we want you to do. Why not? We need you on record so we can then smash and lambast you on air in case you don't do what we want you to do because we control you. How much sense does that make?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all. And look, Sean Hannity, if he wants to be a political strategist or a political advisor or have a role in shaping the House, he should just be honest about it and say, look, I'm not part of a news organization. I'm part of a Republican organization that likes to have its thumb on the scale and shape the way the Republican Party goes. Just be honest about that. Don't claim to be some sort of entertainer who happens to work on a news channel. Just say, look, I am an advocate, an activist. And also, I'm so glad, Jared, that you mentioned Matt Gaetz, because the hypocrisy is so rich. There was Matt Gaetz, I think yesterday, saying that he was tired of not having a Speaker of the House. Matt Gaetz was the one who overthrew McCarthy. So just after a week, it's ridiculous. The hypocrisy is stunning, but that is where the Republican Party is these days. And at a certain point, they're going to make a bet. What's more damaging to the GOP brand? Is it not having a speaker, or is it having a flamethrower like Jim Jordan? I think that equation, that evaluation will determine how quickly this ends.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.